Yo, what's going on guys, Dubobs here. Welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. Today we have even more myths in Marvel Rivals to try out, including some for the brand new heroes. So here is episode 3 of Marvel Rivals Mythbusters. You can stack Human Torch's flame fields. Okay, so Human Torch's flame field will create an area around it that will deal 25 damage per second for a total of 6 seconds. And it turns out if you have multiple of these on top of each other, then they will all damage separately, meaning they do stack. So if you have 3 of these bad boys on top of each other, then you can do 75 damage per second to the target in there. So you can imagine this is a really powerful ability, even if you just stack it and pull people into it with a Groot or even some other ability that another hero has. And I'm pretty sure you can get like 4 or 5 blazing blasts down at a time. If you just spam one person with this, you can delete them from the game. Of course, it also does impact damage as well, so that alone. But if they do walk over a bunch of flame fields, the damage does stack. If the thing and the thing charge into each other, then they will be stunned. Okay, we tried this out and unfortunately nothing happens. There's no interaction between these two when you charge into each other like there are with other heroes where you will be stunned for a brief period when you jump or leap or dive into each other. Nothing happens with the thing. He truly is an immovable force. Mr. Fantastic's inflated state lets him damage through shields. So with Mr. Fantastic's primary attack, he can't damage through shields normally, as you can see here with Doctor Strange. But it turns out when you are in your inflated state, he completely ignores all kinds of shields from Magneto, Invisible Woman, and Doctor Strange. He just damages straight through them all. However, this doesn't apply for bubbles, so for Hulk and Magneto's bubbles, they will still fully protect you from an inflated Mr. Fantastic. It's only the shields that it ignores. The Thing cannot be eaten by Jeff. Okay, so the Thing's passive does make him immune to knockback effects. However, he can still be eaten by a Jeff. The way this displacement passive works... Hello? No, I don't need a new washing machine. Ugh, I'm trying to make a video here and I just keep getting scam calls. If only there was a way to prevent this. Because you might not realize how much of your personal data is actually out there. Data brokers are companies that collect, store, and sell your personal data without your knowledge. From your name, your email, even your browsing history. Your information is all over the internet being sold to whoever wants it. But that's where Incogni comes in. This service automatically requests the removal of your data from tons of data brokers, doing all of the heavy lifting so you don't have to manually opt out from every single site yourself. It saves you a ton of time in the combat against spam. And it really is that simple. Let Incogni know which personal data you want removing, such as your email, and on the dashboard you can see all of the data brokers that have removed your information and completed the request. And the advantage of having an Incogni subscription is that they'll continue protecting your data privacy as you tackle the internet in your everyday life, giving you peace of mind without the hassle. So if you're ready to protect your data like the Avengers protect the world, then use code DILBOBS at the link below to get an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Let's get back to the video with no interruptions. Thanks, Incogni. Okay, so the Thing's passive, the way this displacement passive works, the abilities will still hit him and affect him, but they can't displace him, so Spider-Man can't pull him off the map. But when it comes to a Jeffel, he can be eaten. However, when you spit him out, he doesn't go anywhere. He kind of just falls out of Jeff's mouth. He can't be fired across the map. So you can still throw him off the map if you do eat him with Jeff, but it's much harder than if you do it with the rest of the heroes. However, there is a way that you can dodge a Jeffel very easily with the Thing, and that's by using your Furious Charge. By just pressing charge, you become CC immune during the entire charge, so you can just quickly press it and dodge a Jeffel really easily. So yes, he can dodge it, but not using his passive. You can stack 2 Lunar Snow ultimates with Loki. Can you copy a Lunar Snow and ult at the same time to give double the amount of damage boost? Well, here you can see a damage boosting bot and it's fighting the other bot and it takes 8 shots with the Lunar Snow damage boost. And Lunar Snow gives a 40% damage boost, so theoretically, you should get an 80% damage boost if you copy Luna as Loki and ult at the same time. But here in the gameplay, you can see it still takes 8 shots for the bot to kill, which means the damage boost does not stack when using 2 Lunar Snow ultimates. The Thing can leap to Loki clones. Okay, so the Thing's leap ability is really good for his movement, mainly to engage and disengage from a fight. So being able to jump to Loki clones would be very useful, but unfortunately, you can't do this. You cannot leap to a Loki clone, nor can you give them the damage reduction, so this combination doesn't really benefit the Thing in any way. Invisible Woman does not trigger Penny mines while invisible. So here you can see Invisible Woman run over Penny's arachno mine while invisible, and it does detonate. So no, you're not safe from Penny mines. However, this isn't the case for the spider drones spawned by her nest. As you can see here, I'm standing in the nest and the drones aren't running to attack me. However, the drones do still have a hitbox, and even while invisible, if you run into the actual drone itself, it will blow up, revealing you, and then all the other ones will chase you. So if you're invisible inside Penny's nest, do not walk into the drones. It's probably best to just stay completely clear of them. If you copy Human Torch as Loki, you can stack the Pyro Prison damage. Okay, so the Pyro Prison deals 50 damage per second to enemies caught within it. And to make a Pyro Prison, you need 3 or more flame fields and then connect them, and anyone inside will take this 50 damage per second. So if you copy as Loki and both create the same Pyro Prison, then everyone inside it will be damaged twice. It's pretty crazy. 100 damage per second is insane. So if you're playing Loki, you could always copy your Human Torch and then team up with a pretty insane Pyro Prison. But yes, this is true. Shields will reveal the position of Invisible Woman. Okay, so if you bubble Invisible Woman as the Hulk or Magneto, will it appear to the enemies? Well, yes, this will be the case. It doesn't reveal you though, so once the bubble disappears, you'll still be invisible. But keep this in mind, if you're playing those characters, there might be some very specific situations where you don't want to bubble your invisible characters. But honestly, these situations will probably be very rare. Captain America can deflect Invisible Woman's vortex. So Captain America has some awesome deflect properties, and this also applies to Invisible Woman's vortex, turning it into an enemy vortex that will then explode when it impacts a player or a surface. And if you were wondering what the hitbox is for Captain America's shield, well, it's his entire body. Even if you shoot his feet with the vortex, it will still bounce back as long as he's holding his shield up. So don't throw this into a Captain America shield. Groot Wall can break Punisher's turret. Okay, so Groot's Wall is quite good at destroying certain enemy abilities, but is Punisher's turret one of these? Well, no. As Punisher is CC immune, this also has a weird interaction with the Groot Walls. Instead, it just kind of chops the Groot Wall in half. If you manage to place it over the turret, that portion of the wall just vanishes and it creates a really weird looking Groot Wall that's cut in half, or the segment that would have covered Punisher. So you can't stop a Punisher with Groot's Wall by placing it on him. 2 Doctor Stranges can ult each other at the same time. Okay, so after testing this, it was a little bit difficult to get down at first. You can see in multiple attempts here, someone was slightly out of time and it didn't work. But here we got it spot on. If you do press ult at the exact same time, then you will both ult each other at the same time, and you'll just both be stuck in the astral projection, which is honestly really funny. It's a short break from the action where you can just stare at each other and realize what you've done. Psylocke's ultimate can target invisible enemies. Okay, as soon as you pop Psylocke's ultimate, you'll quickly find out that invisible enemies are safe. So if you're a character like Invisible Woman, Loki, or Psylocke that can go invisible, then you might want to do this during the Psylocke ultimate, making you completely immune to it. Pretty nice. However, one thing I will say, as Psylocke's invisibility only lasts for about 3 seconds, you can't outlive the entire Psylocke ult. So if you're invisible, you're definitely going to want to dash out of this, which is still simple enough. Loki cannot be eaten by Jeff while invisible. Okay, I see a lot of people commenting things with Jeff, and it's pretty simple. Yes, Loki can be eaten while invisible, and so can any other invisible characters, because even though they're invisible, they're not CC immune. They don't have the gold border around their name, which means you're CC immune, so don't think being invisible will save you from Jeff. Enemies captured by Hulk can be woken by Loki copying Hulk. Okay, so when using the radioactive lockdown ability as Hulk, only Hulk can awaken them and damage them by hitting them. And if you copy your teammate's Hulk as Loki, this is still the case. You cannot wake them even if you are also Hulk. If they're completely locked down by the other Hulk, only he can wake them up. And one thing I also wanted to try was, if Hulk has somebody locked down, can the Loki override this by using his lockdown ability as well? And no, you can't overwrite the original Hulk stun with your own stun, so you really just have to wait until your actual Hulk deals damage or the time runs out. The higher you are in Thor's ultimate, the more damage it does. Honestly, this is a pretty common misconception, and I can see why it would make sense. But here you can see, when I'm super low to the ground, it takes Groot to 430 health. But then if we go as high as we possibly can, it does the exact same amount of damage. So this myth is busted. Moon Knight's darts can track through Doctor Strange's portals. Okay, if you have two enemies either side of a Strange portal, will Moon Knight's darts bounce between them? Well, unfortunately, this doesn't work. The darts can't track through portals, which is quite strange, but honestly, these portals are complex enough, so I don't blame them. It's the same if you throw an Ankh on one side of the portal, it doesn't affect the person on the other side, and it can't bounce between them. So unfortunately, you can't do a play like this with Doctor Strange and Moon Knight, but it's probably not the most efficient play anyway. Captain America's shield throw will track invisible enemies. Okay, we tried this in the last episode, but I used the wrong shield throw. Instead, I used his primary attack when you throw the shields, and that didn't work. However, what they meant was the E ability, and this does in fact track invisible enemies after bouncing. So you have to throw it at the ground or a wall or into another enemy. It has to bounce off a surface before it will track, but if the enemy is invisible, then it will find them and reveal them. Now, of course, you still have to throw it relatively close to them. It doesn't have a giant range, so as long as you know the main area where the invisible person will be, this can help you target them. If Magneto bubbles a teammate in Strange's ult, Strange can still damage the green astral projection. Okay, this is an interesting one. So here you can see we've altered Venom, and now he's stuck in the Strange ult. But his Magneto bubbles him, and you can see the bubble will cover Venom's actual body, but it doesn't cover the green projection. So surely I can still damage the astral projection, right? Well, no. Here you can see when I shoot them, it comes up with the shield symbol, which means the damage has been blocked by the Magneto bubble. And if we look at it from Venom's perspective, you can see that he doesn't lose any health, even though his projection has been shot. So Magneto and Hulk bubbles can protect people in Strange's ult. And actually, while testing this, I actually noticed a pretty cool interaction as well that I thought I'd mention. Here you can actually see Venom grabs me before I pop my ult, and even though he's been altered, it doesn't actually stop. You can see I'm still tethered even though Venom's in my ult, and then the tether goes off and damages me. So if you were wondering, Strange's ult also doesn't cancel Venom's tether. But anyway, the original myth was busted. Psylocke's dash can damage Mr. Fantastic in his reflexive rubber. Okay, I can actually see why people thought this was true, because when you dash into Mr. Fantastic, you do still get a hit marker and it doesn't come up with the shield symbol. So you'd think, hey, did that damage him? Well, after looking, this doesn't damage him at all, weirdly enough, even though it doesn't come up with the fortified symbol. Mr. Fantastic is completely immune in reflexive rubber, and I'm pretty sure there's not a single ability that can damage him in this form. So if you think there's anything that can damage Mr. Fantastic's reflexive rubber ability, let me know in the comments. Anyway, that wraps up episode 3 of Mythbusters. If you want to check out the first 2 episodes, you can click them on screen here. And let me know if you have more myths for the new heroes, Human Torch and the Thing, because we'll try them out in the next episode.